Hi there, Social Studies 30-1. I'm going to quickly talk about special interest groups or lobby groups as part of democracy. This can either be a good thing about democracy, or depending on how you look at it, this could be a drawback of democracy too. A special interest group, aka a lobby group, aka a pressure group or a corporate lobby group, what they all mean is they are a group that has a very special interest in mind. They want something. They want the government to pass some kind of law, legislation, policy, budget that achieves a certain objective that helps the lobby group or the special interest group. They can want something economically, they can want something politically, but they've got something in mind. And what they will literally do is they will pressure the government. They will lobby the government. I wouldn't use the word harass, but they will continue to propose things to the government until they hopefully get what they want. The term lobby group actually comes from um, um, these people, these groups would often literally wait in the lobby of the elected parliament. They'd wait in the lobby of the House of Commons. They would wait in the lobby of American Congress, and they would lobby elected officials for what they wanted. This is actually a profession. Lobbyers are professionals. A lobby group, a lobbyer, is paid money, is hired by a special interest group, and they will physically go lobby elected officials in the government. In America, there's thousands of them, not as many in Canada, but it's an actual job. It's an actual profession. You are a professional lobbyer. Some examples of lobby groups I've got at the bottom. MAD, you've probably heard of them, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. This is a lobby group that will pressure the government into passing laws and legislation that crack down on people guilty of drinking and driving, making it a criminal offense and so on. They've actually come a long way. You've probably seen commercials for MAD on TV. They're on there all the time, and it's actually a very noble lobby group. I mean, that is a justified good lobby group, at least in my opinion. And they need to raise money through public donation, in this case, to finance their lobby campaign. And I guess technically speaking, the more times you can lobby your government, the better chance they're going to give you what you want. PETA is another one, preventing cruelty to animals. They would lobby the government for harsher penalties for those found guilty of abusing animals and livestock and so on. MAD and PETA are actually public lobby groups. And what that means is that they're not corporate in nature. They would rely on donations from the public to run their commercials, to hire their lobbyists to lobby the government. And the first two are proof that this works because, we've come a long way over the decades in cracking down on drinking and driving and preventing cruelty to animals. So it does work, not all the time, but at least in those two cases. The next one is probably a little more economic in nature, the CBA, the Canadian Bankers Association. This is a lobby group that would lobby the government for more freedom to maybe sell mortgages without restrictions and things like that. So it's an economic lobby group that would lobby the government for greater economic freedom so they can make more money. And there's nothing wrong with that, but this is an example of an economic lobby group, the CBA. These ones would have deep pockets. So this is not a public lobby group. This is what we would call a private or a corporate lobby group, a big business lobby group. In other words, banks have a lot of money, and because they've got more money, they can lobby the government more than perhaps MAD and PETA could because they've got more money to do so. So one could say because they can lobby more, they might be more apt to get what they want from the government. And the last one, the Assembly of First Nations, they would be lobbying for greater degrees of rights and freedoms for First Nations peoples in Canada. Maybe more land claims for First Nation groups, more control over their territory, resources, and so on. That would be a political lobby group in Canada. So I hope you're getting some idea of what lobby groups are and how they work. On one hand, they kind of epitomize democracy in that you're getting involved and you're pressuring the government. After all, that's what democracy is about. It's about you as a citizen or a group of citizens, pressuring the government to pass legislation that they want in the public self-interest. That's what it's supposed to work like. On the other hand, though, I guess you could say that lobby groups are a little undemocratic in that the more money you have, the greater chance, you could get what you want because you can spend more money in advertising and you can hire more professional lobbyers. And that's not overly democratic. I could see someone making that argument too. Here are some other lobby groups in Canada. Um, these are the 10 lobby groups with the most contact with federal officials in Canada. So some of them are probably pretty, whoa, some of them are probably pretty predictable. So Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers, they would lobby on pipeline regulation. They would want less pipeline regulation, less restrictions on greenhouse gas emission regulations and things like that. There's the Canadian Bankers Association, the Cattlemen's Association of Canada, the Mining Association of Canada, Chicken Farmers of Canada, General Motors of Canada, and the Canadian National Railway. And they would all have special interests in mind that help them advance, what is best for their business or businesses. Uh, but one thing you should note is that in looking at them here, they're all economic in nature, with the exception of Protection of Animals Canada. Although uh, during transport, that probably has an economic connotation too. So it is bit, it's evidence that big business, often wins because they've got deeper pockets. They can pressure the government more. Uh, and that's about all I wanted to talk about and say about lobby groups. I think you probably understand them. When we critique democracy, it's an example of both the good and bad of democracy. Um, I just thought you should know that because you should know that.